All right, today we're tackling our second game of the cartoony sports categories, and today's game is Sega's Soccer Slam. Pete, why don't you give us your initial thoughts on this game?
I'm interested to see how this one goes. I think I like this game more than you guys did. The funny thing is, I really enjoy this game, but like the game has a few mechanics that add a little something extra to the gameplay, but it's really a straightforward arcade soccer game. You know, like what you see is what you get pretty much. But like I said, what you get is really fun in my opinion. So I was really surprised, honestly, with how much I enjoyed playing it, even just against, the CPU. So, I mean, if they made a new Soccer Slam and you could play 3v3 online, I think that would be an incredible game. But anyway, we'll talk about all the nuances of the game.
All right, Tom, what about you?
Yeah, so I think this game has a really cool concept, the 3v3 soccer with, some outlandish twist to it, I think is a great idea. And I remember playing this a lot when we were younger, when the game first had come out, and having a lot of fun with it. So yeah, I mean, I was kind of excited to play this game again, but I don't know that it really lived up to my prior expectations.
Yeah, and I didn't play this game as much as you guys did, I think, back in the day, but, so I kind of ramped up my playing more recently for the podcast, though I was familiar with it from the past, and I gotta say, I was left with a little bit of a meh feeling about this game, so, we'll get into it a little bit more, but, I'll leave it at that for now. Sega's Soccer Slam was developed by Black Box Games and published by Sega for various platforms, including the Nintendo GameCube, which released in North America on March 19, 2002, for Xbox, which released in North America on August 20th, 2002, and on the PlayStation 2, which the game released on September 17th, 2002. All right, so for those that don't know, I'll give a quick rundown of Brothers and Boss Battles, a video game showdown. I'm Anthony, and my two brothers, Pete and Tom, are here. This is Brothers and Boss Battles, and this is how the show works. Each of us picks a game that fits within a specific genre or category. As I mentioned earlier, we're doing cartoony sports games for this most recent category. The first 3 episodes of that grouping, we will discuss one of those games in detail, talking about the gameplay, story, effect on the gaming world, controls, and much more. The 4th episode of each grouping is our Bro Down episode, since we're all brothers, where we will have a courtroom-style debate, each of us defending the game we chose while attacking the other two, and ultimately declaring a winner. All right, so guys, today is Soccer Slam, which Pete fervently suggested for this category.
Yeah, I mean, I remember playing it back in the day a lot with Tom. I guess we played cooperatively, right? We were on the same team, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And a lot of these types of games, they're just so much more fun when you're playing with other people, other humans. And that's probably true of this game too, but it's difficult for me to explain, but I actually kept wanting to come back and playing this game against the computer.
I had kind of the opposite reaction this time around. So, I played a few weeks ago for, preparation of for this episode. And I just the first game I played, I was not scoring for the first half. I didn't really know what to do. And then the second half of the game, I kind of remembered what you have to do, how you kind of have to cheat the game in order to score. And then I just scored 11 goals in the second half, and you just kind of run up to the goal and do a charge shot, and it's almost always
Did you increase the difficulty ever?
I think it starts on normal.
Yeah,
they
probably.
don't start you on the easiest difficulty.
Yeah, but normal can become easy once you learn how to break the game with these
Well,
old
yeah, but
sports.
you shouldn't really learn how to do that after playing for 5 minutes.
Yeah, but maybe you remembered from all the hours of experience you had from the past.
Yeah, I don't think that was it.
Yeah, so there were four modes in Soccer Slam. It was novice, normal, pro, and expert. I think it started on
Difficulty.
normal, which is the second of four. So it is on the easier half if if each difficulty is, created equal.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't pick up the game maybe quite as fast as Tom did, but I had a similar experience where eventually I was winning every match, so I increased the difficulty. And then I kind of started from square one and I was getting better and better.
Yeah, I mean that's normal, but like I don't know that you should be like scoring 14 goals a game. Like even though it's like an
It's
arcadey
soccer, it's an
game,
arcade
but
soccer
like
game.
I don't think it was meant to be like that
But it also
ridiculous.
depends.
Yeah, that's like
It also
infinitely more
depends.
than real soccer. So
Were you averaging 14 points a game? Because
No, no, not average.
I
I
had
would say
games where
we're
I
averaging like around 10.
okay, that's still pretty high, but I had games where I scored 10 goals and then literally the next game I scored 3 goals and maybe I won both of those games, but
still high scoring affairs for soccer. Just a little bit of background. So I think we had, so not I think, we had this for our GameCube back in the day, which you guys played on, and I periodically played on back then. But for the replay, did anyone not play on GameCube? Because I replayed it on GameCube.
I also played it on GameCube and I am the holder of the physical game
Hmm.
this time. So a promise to the fans that I won't try to pull an Anthony and read the manual too much during the podcast.
I played the Xbox version, which was
Hmm.
cool because, well, yeah, cool, I guess. But
Well, it's
so the Xbox
Relative to the
version,
GameCube version, it was cool.
relative to
yeah,
Nintendo.
yeah, I guess it had a few extra characters, like or
Teams or characters? I would think teams. No?
well, you unlock the
Well,
characters individually, so
Oh, okay.
oh really? It was three different teams, I think.
yeah,
Three unlockable teams.
Oh, that's cool. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Did
yeah.
Tom, did you unlock all of them? I'm guessing no, because
not all of them. It was just very arduous to unlock a full team because they give you one character. Uh,
yeah,
so like
at a
so
time,
they give
yeah.
you so like one character from one team, then one character from the other team, and then one character from another team. So you had to play a lot to unlock a full team. But yeah, I mean it was it was a lot because yeah, I guess you had to win. You had to play 4 matches and win all of them to unlock one character. That was in the challenge mode.
Right, we'll get into modes a little bit, but I just kind of wanted to briefly go over the gameplay, I think, first, so people understand. So this is a arcadey, cartoonish sports game. We say 3-on-3, but it's technically 4-on-4 because there is a goalie that you're not really controlling, but there is a goalie, and then three sort of offensive slash defensive players. You kind of play both sides of the ball, and
As you
it's
do in soccer.
yeah, well, that's true, yeah, but you're not subbing out or anything, and you're not getting tired or any of that. And like the characters obviously look very cartoonish, and there's super kicks and the little kicking from that little icon that appears on the screen sometimes, so that you get an extra powerful shot. And obviously scoring multiple goals is the norm, not the exception, unlike real soccer. So it certainly leans into the cartoony sports
Okay,
category.
I think you beat that joke to death already. The real soccer is low scoring. We get it.
I just
So
want
a couple
everyone
of
to
things,
know.
a couple of things you said there. You don't get tired in the traditional sense, but there is a turbo
Mm,
meter
yeah.
that you're pretty much holding the whole time. Well,
Yes,
it
I
depletes
noticed
very
that too.
it depletes very quickly and
Yeah,
recovers very quickly.
yeah.
But so you
You
can
get
get
little,
quote unquote tired.
yeah, you get little spurts of
Speed
speed.
bursting.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the goalies, yeah, they are a member of the team, but a big part of this game is sort of the characters and the personalities, and the
Yeah.
goalies are all sort of nameless,
Right,
faceless
right. I mean,
actors.
the other thing to note about the gameplay in this is that it almost incorporates like rugby or something else in the fact that you could essentially like punch your opponents to have them
Yeah,
give
yeah,
up the ball or steal the ball from them or knock them down so you get more of a free lane to the goal. So that's obviously very different than soccer.
yeah. That that's one of the key things to me in this game is punching uh, punching a player on the opposing team that doesn't have the ball.
Yeah, so they're down, can't get a pass, can't get a
Yeah.
trick shot or anything. And
And
there's
then
very mm,
you could do the more traditional sort of like slide to try to steal the ball.
yeah, which was fun too.
Yeah, it
And,
was all
and
fun.
it's relatively quick halves essentially, right? What were they? 3 minutes each?
Yeah, I want to say 3 minutes.
Yeah,
So since
which
you mentioned that, I really do applaud the game for being pretty.
I just want to say one thing. Continue. So the 3 minutes per half is also not like real soccer. Mm.
Soccer
Yeah,
games
but,
are.
but in real soccer, there's no stop. Like there's no stopping the clock. That's something different in this game.
Hmm.
Wow, can we even call it soccer?
Oh, there's also no out of bounds. Like
Yeah,
it hits like that imaginary electrical field and it just bounces into the game of play, which is cool. I mean, it keeps
that's
the
cool. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
But go ahead. I interrupted your thought.
yeah. No, I was saying it's pretty customizable, and you could change the speed of the game, the difficulty that we talked about. And one thing I really liked is there's so many different camera angles that you could use. So you could switch it from sort of behind your goal or from the side of the field, which I think is more typical you would see in like when watching soccer or in a FIFA video
Yeah.
game. And you could even not just have the angles behind the goal or from the side, but you could zoom them in and out. I think maybe 20 different,
Oh wow. I didn't
uh,
realize that when I was playing it.
not angles, but zooms.
Yeah. I just played from the behind the players like view.
Yeah, I tried the side one and it wasn't for me. But I
Yeah.
did play most of my matches with the camera zoomed back a little, so I could see a little more of the field
Yeah,
Mm.
than
that might have been
than
helpful.
football. Yeah,
I feel like a lot of the times if I had the ball, I didn't know where my team was.
exactly. Yeah,
And like scoring, it was like Tom had mentioned earlier, like if you kind of use your turbo kick in front of the goal. I mean, that was a good key to scoring and a pretty easy way to exploit the game. But I will say there were times where I would go and try to do that, and the goalie would come out and take the ball from me before I got the kickoff. So like you really had to position and time it properly for that to work.
Yeah, for sure. One thing I didn't like about the game is that I felt like a lot of the times there were just like a random something, somebody would take a shot from like the literal midfield, like the midfield marker, and it would be a goal. And it happened very frequently, and it was just like, what? Like, how is that a goal? What could I have done to prevent that from being a goal?
you gotta
Score,
contest his shot.
At
score.
midfield? I mean, it's ridiculous. Like
I don't.
stuff
I
like
don't.
that. Stuff like that I don't like because it's just random.
Yeah. I
But
think the
that's what
point was
that's what life and sports is, though. It can't just.
No, not
Can't,
but not taking a shot from midfield. That's dumb.
But I think the point sort of was is like this is an arcadey game, so you should be if you're good, you're winning by 5 points. So this one like unfair point is gonna not be a big deal. I'm not saying I agree with
I
that.
don't like that.
I more agree with your position, but I'm just saying that I think that's
I don't think that was a big issue. That happened from time to time, but not regularly.
I don't know. I feel like it happened almost every match. Maybe there was some like comeback mechanics. If you were winning, they would just
yeah.
Maybe, yeah.
get a shot from midfield and have it come in for some
You were
reason.
so good, so you were winning like 14-1 every match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the other cool thing about this is that each team sort of had a strength. They were made up
Yeah.
of so one was the fast team, one was the better passing team, one was, the better at knocking people down or stealing the ball.
Yeah, I liked how each team had an identity.
Yeah, that is cool. And then in the challenge mode, which I briefly mentioned before, you get to make up your own team of three different characters. Like it doesn't have to be from like
Yeah, the
you
same.
don't pick a squad, you pick three
Mm.
separate
Yeah,
characters,
that's
so you
really
can kind
cool. I
of
think
mix and
that
match there.
wasn't in the GameCube version.
Yeah, I don't recall that.
Maybe
Yeah.
not because it's the way that you unlock new characters, and if
Yeah,
there's no
yeah.
characters to unlock, there's like no point.
Yeah, I mean the
Well, it's
two.
still would have been fun, but
Yeah, that
Well,
would
that's
have.
true, yeah.
Yeah, because you could have even done three different characters from each of the existing teams. It didn't have to be the unlocked teams.
yeah. Yeah, but we should. Do you want to talk about the teams a little more, or not really?
I have a question before we dive into
Yes,
that.
but yeah, go ahead, Tom.
Um, there was a guy, Duke. He's like an American football player.
Yeah.
Was he in the GameCube version? Because like I did not recall him for the life of me.
I don't really remember. So what?
He was on the green
The
team, I
green,
think.
yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Were they in
All
like the
right.
North America? So each, for the
Yeah.
listeners that don't know, I mean, with this game came out in 2002. So like each team is somewhat. I mean,
Stereotypical.
yeah, they lean into stereotypes a little bit, I would say, with the accents and things like that. So I mean,
Yeah,
it's
some of the quips too.
yeah, just yeah, exactly. So I mean, it's whatever you take that, whatever you take it for what
A
it is, but
trigger warning.
yeah, but
So
anyway,
each
oh,
team
so I
was
don't
sort of
remember. I don't think I used
regional.
yeah, regional. So they're right. So there was like yeah, like a European team and like well, there was like a Western
A couple.
European team and then like the Northern like Scandinavian almost kind of team. I think wasn't there like one with like not Scandinavian. I guess there was one more like
Yeah, I think Sweden and
yeah. Well, the West.
that was
The,
one of them.
yeah, the Western team. I know it was Italy, France, and Scotland. Where the three play. Oh, that was Team
Yeah,
Volta.
and there was another team that had like British.
Yeah,
Um,
which I guess the Scotland team could have fit into, but yeah. But then there was like there was another one with like all like sort of like more like islands. Like it had like an Australian guy, a Hawaiian guy,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like yes, some other like sort of island, and then there were just others too. I mean,
yeah, I think that was Japan.
oh, Japan, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
was the other. So anyway, I mean,
Yeah.
but the main
But yeah,
the main thing about the teams was, they were all like a different, like had a different colored uniform, aesthetically, but the main difference was what their strengths were.
yeah, so the teams as a whole had strengths, as you mentioned. And but each individual character within those teams had different stats as well.
Were they like behind the scenes stats? Because like I don't remember each individual character like having a stat like listing.
They had
Like a bio
like a
or
bio
something.
page,
Oh,
yeah,
right,
for each
yeah.
character where you could check.
Yeah, it just seemed that way that like even when I was playing with Team Volta, like it seems like the smaller guys are
Yeah.
better scorers, maybe a little faster, and like the bigger guys are. You didn't feel
Yeah.
that way?
No, the smaller guys were generally the fast ones. I feel like the bigger ones were generally better at taking shots and
I don't know.
Hitting.
hitting.
I was mostly Team Volta, which had the Italian, the Scottish, and the French guy. And the French guy was the like the small one, and I felt I scored the most with him, but maybe that was just the way I was setting up the shots.
Yeah. I
Uh,
mean,
they all
to
have
that point, they all had
yeah.
the ability to do everything. It
Yeah,
wasn't
yeah.
like, oh, this guy stinks at scoring, so I'm never going to score with him. But the
Yeah.
French guy was like the taller, slender guy,
No,
right?
that was the Italian guy. The French guy was the Renault or something, was the short, skinny guy, and then the Scottish guy was like a short, like a little bit more stout guy.
Yeah, Angus. Yeah,
Yeah, Angus. Yeah,
I remember him. Yeah,
yeah. But I mean, like anytime you would score a goal with him, like bagpipes would play. It was just
yeah,
like,
yeah. So on that, there is like for every single character when they scored, there's like a little song
yeah.
that would play, and then there's like a full like longer song for each team. I think when you win or something.
So what teams did you? I mentioned I played mostly with Team Volta. What did you guys play with?
I played Volta a bit, and I also played the I think they were Tsunami. the team with the
The islands.
Japanese
Yeah.
woman
Yeah.
and the Hawaiian and
Yeah.
Australian guys.
Right. That was my second played team as well. So yeah, those were
Huh,
my top two.
They were the
that's
top
fine.
shooting team.
Yes.
Yeah.
Volt. Oh, they were the top shooting. Volta was the top speed team.
Speed. Yeah.
Yeah. To me, Volta was the best team
Mm,
I
Yeah,
found.
I think speed is pretty important.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like
But
in most things.
ironically, or I don't know, not ironically, but interestingly, I Toxic, which their strength is passing, but they're also fast. I think they're the second fastest team behind Volta. I didn't find they were that strong. So I don't know. Just my opinion,
Yeah.
I guess. But I played all the teams equally.
Are you being
So
serious? Or?
yeah. So
Okay, so then you could
the
really
main
tell
mode
us
that
what you what you
the
thought.
main mode that I played was the quest, which is kind of like the season.
Right.
So you play. There's 6 teams in the game total, not counting unlockable teams. So you basically play each of the 5 other teams that you're not once. Then there's an all-star game, and then you play each of those 5 teams again. And I think the top 4 records advance to a playoffs. So I did that for all of the 6 teams, just because I just loved playing the game so much.
Damn.
Yeah.
I couldn't even make it through one team. I started that mode, but then I was just like, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah. So in that mode, you could also there's like if you win games, and there's also these like kind of challenge segments in between games, like do killer shots or whatever, which we didn't talk about yet.
Yeah, yeah.
And for everyone you get within whatever it is, 30 seconds or a minute, you get more money, and you could use that money for upgrades to your player's stats or for like game art.
That
But
was cool. I like when there's a shop.
yeah, yeah. I never bought anything. I didn't want to like have my players boosted. Well, I guess I could have bought the art, but I also read that the art contained like I didn't verify this, but it contained codes like for different cheats or for different like modes. Like you could change, I think, the soccer ball to different like an eyeball or something,
Hmm.
different things like that.
Huh. Yeah, interesting.
Pretty cool. Like a
Yeah.
skin for the ball.
Yeah, so I don't know how interesting it is, but I mentioned I found Volta to be the best team.
Mhm.
My ranking was then Sub-Zero, which was their strength was hitting.
Mm.
Then Spirit, whose strength was stealing. Then the Tsunami, whose strength was shooting. El Fuego, who was balanced, I didn't like, and Toxic, I mentioned. They were my least favorite team.
Yeah, that was the team Duke was on.
So you're saying that your
Yeah.
favorite was
Volta.
the
No,
and then the hitting team?
and then the hitting team. Yeah, I just
Yeah, they seemed
I just
pretty
did
good.
the best with them.
Yeah.
Did they stay
And I had
down like the longest when you hit people with them, or was it just easier to get a shot that landed, like knocked them down?
Yeah, because I think sometimes you could hit them and they kind of
They-
like
Just yeah, they wouldn't fall.
yeah they wouldn't fall. So
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that was a team with half pint. So
Funny name.
That was a character you liked.
yeah,
Was he short?
his name is half or something.
Half pint?
No, he was
He was the British guy, right?
yeah
Oh, like a pint of brew.
yeah exactly. But each of the characters also had their little background story. I felt they really did a good job with the characters.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the quest mode, right? That you were talking about?
Yes.
Yeah.
Then there was Trini.
Yeah, I noted down that it kind of reminded me of Twisted Metal a little bit, how they like gave each character a backstory as to why they wanted to enter the tournament and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Different results, obviously,
Yeah,
than
and
Twisted Metal. But
No Mephisto giving them the "Be careful what you wish for" speech at the end, or not? Was it Mephisto? No, what was
Calypso.
Calypso? Yeah.
Anyway, back to Soccer Slam. And each team also had a field, an arena or something
Yeah, there's different
that you could
levels.
unlock
Like,
by winning. Was it maybe it was quest mode? If you won quest mode, I think you unlock their home stadium.
That's cool. I mean, it lent itself more to the cartoony sports category. I mean, it didn't really affect the gameplay, which I think is cool because it like aesthetically
Yeah.
looked cartoony and different and arcadey and all of that, but didn't necessarily provide weird hazards or gimmicks to affect the
Right. Yeah.
gameplay.
Which was good. There was enough craziness as there was. So we didn't really talk about like the special shots, right?
So let's talk about them.
So one was the spotlight kick. Remember that? So
That was
Yeah,
ev-
cool. It's very cinematic.
yeah, every so often there was a spotlight that would kind of roam the the field,
yeah,
and you would have to like with as the ball carrier run to the spotlight and press the shoot button, and you would kind of then do like a slow motion like jump
yeah,
up really high in the air and
Matrix style.
yeah, yeah.
yeah. I know this is gonna sound complainy, but like I always felt that whenever it showed up where I was nearest the goal, it was always like three quarters of like a quarter of the way. I don't know, just like closer to midfield than when it showed up for the other team, which would usually be right in front of my goal. So it's, but I don't know. You make your
I
own
liked
luck.
that those I like that those weren't free goals.
Yeah, that's
Like
true. They
Yeah.
weren't.
So that's kind of what I want to get into. So there's a spot. Then there was the killer kick, which I briefly mentioned, which was if your power meter, I think it was called, was fully charged, then you could do a killer kick, which was similar to a spotlight kick, right? But like you could do it anywhere on the field, and the player that possessed the ball would basically kick it up high in the air, and one of your teammates would kind of jump up in the air and kick it.
yeah.
I don't think I did that
So,
once.
and that's why maybe you didn't have as much fun as you could.
Yeah, probably.
Well, the power meter was also used for the transformation thing, right?
Yes. So
Yeah,
that
so
that's
I
what
Explain
kind
the
of
transformation thing to any of our listeners and not me what that is.
because
I
I
don't
already know what it is because
I
I
don't know
played the game.
if even that's the official name. I've
It's not
probably
the
not.
official name.
Do you know what the official name is?
No, in my notes
Basically,
I said regular powered kick.
I mean, basically, so like, let's say you're playing as the fire team, you become encompassed in fire, and then and this isn't only on offense, you can use it on defense too. Yeah, but basically, you do like a super strong kick, and you move faster. So that's basically like a
Oh yeah, I did that. You just
power
pick
up.
up. Yeah,
Yeah.
once you get
Yeah,
it full, you just press like I think it was the left trigger button or something, right? And you would be like
Yeah, whatever it
power.
was.
Yeah.
yeah. But so my point is that like I tended to use that over the killer kick thing
Yeah. So
whenever I had power meter.
that was my complaint. The killer kick consumed more of your power meter, but I feel like it wasn't as effective as those regular power up kicks,
Yeah,
where you transformed into your thing. So
element.
yeah, so that was probably my biggest complaint with the game is that the killer kick was pretty useless.
I have a complaint about the teammate AI.
Mm.
I felt it was pretty poor, like a lot of the times. Like for example, if there was if the ball was unpossessed by either team and one of your AI teammates was right next to it, they wouldn't really go to pick it up. They would continue to cover their, opposing player on the other
Yeah,
team,
yeah,
Yeah.
which was just kind of like, just unrealistic and like not smart for an AI to behave that way.
yeah.
So yeah.
I always felt that the CPU AI was doing a much better job at like knocking my teammates down than my
Yeah,
teammates were doing of knocking them down
yeah,
and hitting them.
I wanted
agree.
to ask. I noticed that you can pick to either control one guy or the entire team, or one person or the entire team. And
Yeah.
I just interested to see what you guys did because like I started off on these more recent replays of just controlling one guy on the team, and then I didn't like that at all. It felt very not sports like game to me. So I then went on to control the entire team, but then I felt it was hard to like it didn't always switch to the person nearest the ball all the time, and that led to some issues for me as well.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
didn't switch, but most of the time somebody was possessing the ball. So
Yeah. But what did you guys play that way too, where you control the entire team or just one character?
I did the whole team.
yeah, I did the whole team as well. But so I mentioned the All-Star game in that quest mode, and in that you only control the character on your team,
Hmm.
and I hated it.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
really it made it a lot more difficult, obviously, because
Yeah.
now you're only controlling a third
Yeah.
of your team instead of all. Yeah,
Right.
I didn't like it at all.
Yeah, that's why I switched with the regular games. I just didn't really find it that fun. Even though you obviously get the ball a lot, there's only three people, so but and and you get knocked around and all of that, and but yeah, I agree with you guys. All right, we're gonna take a quick break, get answers to last week's Would You Rather question, and then be back. All right, welcome to this week's mid-episode filler. Would you rather answers from last week? Last episode, rather, we discussed Mario Superstar Baseball,
Yeah, you got it. You nailed it.
and we decided to ask the listeners on our social media, X and Instagram at Bros Boss Battles, what Mario-based sports game is your favorite, and what would you rather play? And we gave three options, those being Mario Golf, Mario Tennis, and Mario Strikers, which is the soccer Mario game. And thank you for all those who participated, and we would like to discuss our answers to those questions right now. Who wants to go first?
I'll go. So, my favorite, aside from baseball, of course, would be Mario Tennis. This was fun game back on the N64, and then the remake was also fun. But I liked how they had so like many different characters, and I remember I liked the paratrooper. He was one of my favorite characters in the game, and it was just kind of like random to play as this like random enemy. But yeah, cool cast, and that's my answer.
Yeah, that one was pretty good. I think I'm going with Mario Golf, though. I'm trying to get better at golf in real life, and I can look to Mario for inspiration. But seriously, the golf games are fun, and cartoony golf games are particularly fun. Back to the Hot Shots days, but also with Mario Golf. So that is my choice. Pete?
Mario could teach you golf, kind of like the Mario teaches typing games, if anyone remembers those.
I'll do a typing games category.
Fun.
Educational.
So I'm glad I went after Tom, because I honestly feel that Mario Tennis is a very overrated game. I feel like everyone seems to love it, but it's not that fun. My answer is Strikers.
Oh, and there you go. Three different opinions from the three brothers. All right. Well, thank you for participating, those that did. And thank you for listening to this segment. Catch us and our polls and other social media postings on X and Instagram at Bros Boss Battles. You can also check us out on Spotify, wherever you get this podcast, sometimes on Twitch, our YouTube channel, all at Bros Boss Battles, as well as our website, brothersandbossbattles.com. All right, now back to the regular episode where we're discussing Sega's Soccer Slam. All right, we're back talking Soccer Slam. We've gone through some of the characters and teams and a little bit of the gameplay in this game. Who else
One
wants
thing
to
we-
add stuff?
Yeah, I feel like I'm defending the game, and it's not even a bro down episode. But one thing we didn't talk about is the sound. Well, we did talk about the songs a little bit and the
Yeah.
little songs, but there isn't really that much commentary.
I was just gonna comment though that it has that sort of, if someone's making fun of soccer commentators, I feel it has that sound to it.
Yeah, no,
I don't think there was. I didn't get the impression that they were trying to make fun of it, or
Just like
No, it's
they
just
had
like the
like
I
these
don't know.
British guy, like
I was
guys
thinking
with British accents.
in the game of stereotypes, I feel like they were trying to be a stereotypical
like
Yeah,
soccer
announcing.
yeah,
announcer. Yeah.
But
yeah,
I
yeah.
kind of got the I don't know that Simpsons episode where it's like Kent Brockman is as the American is announcing the soccer game. And he's like, "Oh, he holds the ball, holds it," and then they have like a foreign announcer. And they're like, holds it, holds it," and it's like
Yeah,
I
and then
kind
like
of felt
that.
like that.
But so that's kind of what I'm getting to because like when you're like gonna take a shot and they announce like the name like Moderna and then like the crowd like noise goes up, like it really is like exciting. Like that, I
It's
thought they did
funny.
a good job for not that much.
That should be a commercial for the pharmaceutical company, Moderna, having you take a shot.
Womp, womp, womp,
No,
womp.
I'm no trombones going there.
Or
Anyway, I don't know. I
I
thought
like
the yeah,
I,
God,
I like them. I thought it fit well for the game. Yeah, and a lot of I guess a lot of the lines were kind of repetitive after you played a few matches, but I think it was I didn't mind it at all.
yeah, I thought it was good. I really thought it added something. It
yeah, it
added the
did.
excitement level.
Yeah, I think that if they didn't have any commentary at all, it would have been a lot more boring.
Oh
Oh yeah,
yeah, yeah. No, that definitely aided the like fun of the game.
yeah.
Yeah, something that kind of and not to compare, but that something was kind of there wasn't like color commentary in Super Mario Baseball, so
It's
it's
not to
like
compare, but I'm going to compare.
I'm not gonna go through a whole spiel of comparison, but I'm just saying. You
Yeah,
know,
and there were a lot of other little things like I don't know if you guys even noticed, but you like knock off the keeper's equipment as you take shots. So like even if you keep taking shots and he keeps blocking them, like in theory, it becomes easier to make the next shot that you take.
does he ever get his armor back? Not armor, whatever. Like the answer. Let the record reflect that Pete is shrugging his shoulders and noting no, or
I
noting
don't
he
know.
doesn't know.
Yeah. Um, and what else? Like you could tap the pass button for like a high, like
Yeah, like a
a softer
lob
pass. Yeah,
pass.
lob pass.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, there was a lot going on there.
Yeah, I
It
really felt
wasn't
like
like so rudimentary.
yeah,
yeah,
I really felt like one of the keys to scoring, if you weren't going to use like your turbo or your the power kick or whatever, was to you really had it a lot of times, and it got me. It was like the three-person pass, like the quick pass from one to the next, and then the third person takes a quick shot into the goal. Like I felt like that was a certainly enhanced your probability of scoring.
that was another thing I always felt that the opposing team was better at
Oh
than
yeah,
my teammates.
definitely. Yeah, I have to say I used a lot of the go up to as close to the goal as possible on a breakaway and use the turbo kick.
Yeah,
Because then it would
that's
sort of almost position in a way where it would keep it from the goalie, whether that be like high or low or to one side. I feel like you obviously had some control over that, but it was, I guess that was, it just made it easier. And I guess where it was somewhat limited, where you could exactly shoot. I guess that's how they took care of that.
so we mentioned the unlockable teams before, and I also mentioned how I played through the quest mode with every team. So kind of when I was wrapping up the game, like I felt like even I, who enjoy the game, played it enough. I was doing some research for this podcast and just looking up just things online. I like to look up things that are unlockables. So then I saw that there was these three unlockable teams, and like I was so darn excited, and I was like, "How did we not know about this?" When we were playing this as a kid, and then I realized that
Because we played on the
they're not.
GameCube.
Yeah, they're not on the GameCube version, and that like made me very angry, angry at Nintendo.
They've
That was
always
So much,
because they
so
the
much so that
GameCube used.
I canceled my Switch 2 pre-order.
What were you saying, Tom?
Sorry, I was gonna say that the reason why the GameCube version didn't have the extra characters was because they used mini discs and didn't have enough
Yeah.
space.
I don't know if that's true,
Okay.
Well,
actually.
You,
Because I
it had
think
to be a space issue, no? I mean,
it seems likely that it was, but
yeah, I mean, why
I'm
else?
wondering. I think the different versions came out at different times.
Yeah,
They
but
were released.
not wildly different. They're all the same year.
Yeah, yeah,
I don't know. I just that seems like a weird. They needed that extra like 2 months
yeah.
to
I don't know.
program every PlayStation 2 game versus GameCube game. I don't know.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right.
It has to
So
be because also, I mean, I don't think Nintendo would want that if it didn't have to accept that limitation because that would just sort of drive people to the other systems releases unless, because I don't know how much of a
true.
I think the game critiqued relatively well, but I don't know that this is necessarily like a day one purchase for a lot of people.
No. Yeah. I don't think so.
Yeah.
But another thing I read, and I guess you and I Ann played on GameCube. Tom, you played the Xbox version, you said, right? So one thing I
Hmm.
read was that the PS2 version was a little jumpy and not as visually crisp. And I don't know why that would be either.
Even with the extra 2 months.
The 2 months that were just proclaiming without it.
So in North America, it was GameCube was March 19th, Xbox was August 20th, and PlayStation was September 17th. So a little bit more than 2 months, but
Yeah, so it was like, at 6 months or so.
yeah.
So it could have been. But
Yeah.
yeah, about those, maybe, I don't know, maybe the listeners will find it interesting about those three teams. There was Team Love,
Mm.
which was like pink team, three girls, and they were faster than Volta.
Ah.
So they were probably a very good team.
Did they have any like sort of geographical or other sort of stereotype
I think the stereotype was maybe,
that they were all women and it was
yeah,
love?
yeah.
Yeah.
There was like a tomboy,
Okay.
like a,
Yeah.
different kind, whatever personalities. I don't know. And another team was Team Robo. So there's three robots that were made by Rumiko.
The Japanese
Yeah.
player. Okay.
So Pi, DOD, and Mecha. And then there was Team Ohm. So they wore gold.
Ohm,
And
like yoga ohm?
yeah,
Or
OHM.
that could also be like, isn't that a unit of
Yeah,
electrical
yeah, yeah,
capacity or measurement or something?
yeah, something like that. Yeah. So they had superior shooting abilities.
What was the robot's ability, like top ability?
Actually, from what I was reading, shooting, I think these three teams were all better than the six regular teams.
Oh, okay.
Like,
That's unfair.
yeah, yeah. And then I'm hesitant to even bring this up, but I think there were two mini games that were also not in the GameCube version.
Yeah, because I only
Which,
remember like Quest being the main one. There was, I guess, some sort of exhibition, and then there was like
yeah,
tourney mode for like a tournament.
yeah. I think the mini
Yeah,
games
so
were.
there was the hot potato mini game.
Mm.
Did you play that? That was
No,
not
no, no. It's
available.
not. It's not in the GameCube. I'm
Yeah.
pretty
So
sure.
basically you have to hold the ball for as long as possible and then just pass it off before it explodes. Like there's like a timer on it.
Hmm.
So
Oh,
like if you
okay.
hold it, then it's like you rank up points for at the time that you're holding the ball. And then, the idea is like to pass it off to someone and have it explode on them immediately, and then they lose points.
Oh, okay. Sounds like that could
But
be.
then, yeah, if you do
Yeah.
it too fast, then they pass it back to you, and then like
Yeah,
you
yeah.
end up
Is it
getting
just one on
exploded.
one,
Nah, it's four.
4 on 4, or one on one on one on one?
One on one on one on one.
And did you play the other mini game?
Yeah,
I
the
think
other
there
one
was
was
two.
Brawl.
Super Smash
Uh,
Brothers.
if only.
One of these characters should be a character in Super Smash.
There we go. Nintendo Super Smash Brothers reference met.
What's a brawl?
Yeah, this one, you just kind of had to like punch, like it was a punching one. Like you had to, they were like collectibles like thrown out on the field, and then you would have to like pick them up, and they would make you like move faster and hit harder and stuff like that. But it was really about punching.
Was that also four people against each other?
Yeah, yeah, I think it was.
That one doesn't sound as fun.
One on one on one on
Yeah,
one.
that one was lame. The hot potato one, like, could be fun.
Yeah. Yeah, again, I mean, if you had four people on a couch, probably more fun.
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
safe to say that this game is more fun because like it I guess it falls into the a similar trap as a lot of sports games, cartoony and not back then, where it's like difficulties just don't scale great. So you get used to a setting, you get to a point where you're almost always winning, and then you get moved to the next one. You may have a little bit of growing pains, but you get to that point again. And either you do that for every difficulty or you hit a wall eventually.
Yeah, but if you hit a wall, then that might be a sweet spot.
Yeah, I mean the only other thing I would say is that if you do get really good at this game, the seemingly worse user AI team members might hold you back a little bit, and that could even things out in the long run. Even though it seems unfair that you're being affected by that, it could still.
I don't know. I have to say, when I was doing the quest, like I mentioned, I guess it's the second difficulty, the default difficulty, fairly quickly, I got up to a place where I was, probably winning 9 out of 10 matches. But when I moved up to the next difficulty, I was getting better, and if I played more and more, I probably would have gotten a little better. But it was competitive still.
Yeah, I mean, I on this most recent playthrough, I don't think I won one game, so I didn't play a ton. Maybe I won
On the
once.
default difficulty.
I may have gone to pro, which is the third. I definitely didn't play on
Okay.
the hardest. I think I may have tried one game on the hardest. Was like, nah.
Yikes.
Yikes, indeed.
Oh, so you guys played on the hardest difficulty?
No, I didn't.
No, but we won on the normal difficulty.
I think I won once.
Oh, okay. I take back my yikes.
Lost 16, won one. Any other comments? We've kind of gone through what this game entails. I mean, we've gone through the gameplay, we've gone through the characters, our experience with it, the difficulties, sound.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, what do you think about like the gameplay as far as like not graphically? We don't have to get into that, but just like I didn't always feel it was smooth. Again, I had mentioned the thing about not being able to like it didn't always switch to the character that should be getting the ball all the time. And Tom mentioned some control issues too, so I kind of think that might have just been a product of the times, but it certainly led to some conf consternation, I guess, because there was like soccer, especially a cartoony soccer game like this, moves pretty quickly, and when things don't always move quickly on your end, it could be frustrating.
I felt maybe with the punching sometimes, especially when the opposing team was about to go up for like a spotlight kick or a killer kick or something. I really felt like I was punching them and they weren't getting
Mm,
affected by it
yeah,
Yeah,
sometimes.
I noticed that too with the switching teammates. It didn't always feel good.
yeah.
And you would kind of like run away from where you wanted to go.
I do like one of the things I don't like about soccer though is just sort of like the offsides and like just the holding the ball and like so this really like made soccer fun, or at least made a good faith attempt at making soccer fun.
I think the funnest moments were when there were a few like shots on goal and the goalie kept
Yeah,
blocking them and like you were really just trying to, if you were on defense, you were really just trying to get the ball and knock it out of
yeah,
there. Or if you were
yeah,
on offense, you were really trying to, I thought those are the funnest moments. And those happened with somewhat regularity. Like I know
yeah.
Tom was saying about such being high scoring, but like the goalie really does make a lot of
Oh yeah.
saves too.
Well, there's a ton of shots on goal because it's only
Yeah.
3-on-3 and it's,
And it's a small
no out of
field. Yeah.
bounds and it's a small field and there's trick kicks and all right, let's finish up with our final thoughts here. Pete, you want to go first?
Yeah, I do want to go first because something Tom mentioned at the beginning about how halfway through the first match he played, he kind of, relearned the controls, what you had to do, and then he was like unstoppable virtually. And like, it's really meant to be an arcade game, so that's how it's supposed to be. You're not supposed to spend hours and hours learning and like never scoring a goal until it clicks. This was a fast paced, funny type of game where you could punch people and the characters have a lot of personality and there was enough there for me who really does not like playing solo player games against the computer. There was enough there for me that I just kept wanting to come back, and I played through the quest mode with every single team. So I I recommend playing this game, and I wish so bad that they would like kind of remake it or make a new version of this, and where you could play online. I think that would be so fun. So
Yeah.
if you haven't heard about this game or ever checked it out, I would really recommend checking it out.
Yeah, I'll second some of those thoughts in that, which I feel is becoming a theme here for this category. Because you mentioned this about the Mario baseball game last week or
Not
last
to
episode,
compare.
not to compare, but last episode. Well, this is more of a general point, but I do think Nintendo should really take a hard look at putting these on their GameCube online service for the Switch too. I'm not sure how the rights are with this one right now since it has appeared on other systems, but it's I say that to say that bringing it into the modern era I think would be fun because again to a point that was made earlier, I think this game is a lot better against friends than against the computer. Um, I was I felt the game is lackluster as far as facing the CPU is concerned. It has all the hallmarks of being a fun game, but just some of the gameplay just was lacking for me, and a little bit frustrating with such a high speed version of the sport, kind of not jiving with the controllers sometimes, and that was frustrating. So to be honest, I actually would not recommend this game. Um, it's not horrible, and if you play it, I won't yell at you or anything. But I just think with so many games available and all that this one can be skipped, and you won't necessarily be missing much. All right, Tom, finish us off.
Yeah, so like I said in the intro, there's cool stuff about this game. I just personally don't feel like there's any reason to really be playing this in 2025. I did not have fun playing this against the computer, um, recently. So like, I mean, unless you're the type to have people over a lot, or if you live with somebody who's also a gamer and you have one of these, older consoles, and then maybe it's worth checking the game out. And if you're really into sports or soccer specifically, you could have some fun with it. But I think that's a very small, percentage of actual people. So I think the majority of the people are just can recognize this game as a part of, as a fun part of gaming history, but I think we could leave it in the past.
All right, thank you guys. Thank you all listeners for listening to this episode on Sega's Soccer Slam. Be sure to check us out 2 weeks from now for our third and final game in this category before the Bro Down, where the three games will go up against each other. Check us out on Instagram and X, Twitch, and YouTube at Bros Boss Battles. That's BROS Boss Battles. Our website, brothersandbossbattles.com. And wherever you get this podcast, make sure to like and subscribe. All right, everyone, till next time, take care.